Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Be Aware broadcast. How y'all doing? Forgetting my lighting as always. How's it going, everybody? How you doing? How are things? I thought I can maybe try to fill in some intro music. Um, much lower energy. Yeah, I mean, I made it through. Got all my stuff submitted. So, yeah, it's the crash after the big haul. But here we go. It's another Be Weird stream. Yeah, it's good to have some relief from homework, at least a little bit. Got the whole summer ahead of me. Should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Except for maybe the heat waves. But how are you doing? Did you get your coffee? Did you do your morning routine? I hope you had good sleep. Yeah. Oh, I gotta figure out the next schedule. So that's something I'm like hoping we can do by the end. Like, what's a good schedule? I'm thinking like maybe 2 to 8 or something. Like after lunch, we'd probably go for a while. Although I'd love to like do like a cooking stream. Yeah, nice. Oh, Animal Crossing probably has really lovely music too. Really peaceful music. So yeah, we got a lot of good content. It looks like I'm stalling, but I'm not. I got lots of good clips. We're gonna learn a bit more about Uvalde. It's getting weirder and weirder. Next up, we're gonna look about Texas GQP, which is starting to eat their own, and the anti-like trans, anti-LGBTQ legislation that's cropping up. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. And then maybe Freedom Convoy, huh? Well, I'll get my Freedom Convoy hat out, and we'll figure out what's going on with there. I'm thinking maybe even going to Ottawa for Canada's Day. That could be crazy. Go cover that. And then I looked into gimbals, and then I thought it would be impossible. Gimbals are not really, they don't really work for Android, it seems. Such a beautiful world. Yeah, I mean, things are really starting to fall apart. So that's lovely and swell. What else? And then V Rising. I got hooked on a very lovely game. I don't know if it's gonna be for everyone, but I want to try doing some streaming. That or Elden Ring could be fun. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of noodling on guitar. Let's get into it. I'll put this away. I don't exactly have the music set up I want to. We'll get there, but that's a nice little stand-in to show I'm thinking about it. I'm trying. There will be something a bit more developed soon once I have the time, which I should have soon. Class doesn't start for another few weeks or week, 5 days. I don't know. What I do know is the segue that's coming up next is totally around the corner. Okay, all right. So let's see here. What do we got? Yeah, the first one's done. I basically had to design an online course. I did it about Twitch streaming and making videos to upload to YouTube. Introduction to digital storytelling, I called it, and made like a single module, a single unit out of like 4. And that was really good practice. I didn't know all the ins and outs of Google Classroom, and now I do, so that's useful information. So yeah, it was a good time all around. Maybe if I finish it, I can actually sell it to people. Be like, look, take my course. Okay, so let's get into it. Do I have appropriate? Do I have clown music? Let me just pull up some clown music really quick. because we're going to the bad place. We're descending into hell. Oh gosh, oh god, the first story that's coming up is so hard. It's just so mind-numbingly difficult. But let's go. Okay. This is more part. I don't think so. I think it's we might get to like the first or second level of the bad place. That's what it should be. We're not descending into the levels of hell, which end at 9. We're descending into the levels of the bad place, which who knows? Who knows how far the bad place goes, you know? How many cycles are there? Okay, all right, everybody, let's go. All right. So the first story, which should be great for everybody to learn. According to the San Antonio Express News, there's a source saying the police never tried to open the door to classrooms where Uvalde gunmen had kids trapped. Yep. Crank the clown music, let's fucking go. Surveillance footage shows that police never tried to open a door to 2 classrooms at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde in the 77 minutes between the time a gunman entered the room and massacred 21 people, and officers finally stormed in and killed him, according to a law enforcement source close to the investigation. Investigators believe the 18-year-old gunman who killed 19 children and 2 teachers at the school on May 24th could not have locked the door to the connected classrooms from the inside, according to the source. It was an unlockable door, apparently. They didn't even try. They didn't even try to turn the knob, didn't even let it jiggle. All classroom doors at Robb Elementary are designed to lock automatically when they are closed, so that they are the only way to enter from the outside, is with a key, the source said. Police might have assumed the door was locked, but the latest evidence suggests it may have been open the whole time, possibly due to a malfunction, the source said. The surveillance footage indicates gunman Salvador Ramos, 18, was able to open the door to classroom 111 and enter with an assault-style rifle, the source said. Another door led to classroom 112. Ramos entered Robb Elementary at 11:33 a.m. that day through an exterior door that a teacher had pulled shut, but that didn't lock automatically as it was supposed to, indicating another malfunction in door locks at the school. Police finally opened the door to classroom 111 and killed Ramos at 12:50 p.m. Whether the door was unlocked all along remains under investigation. Regardless, officers had access the entire time to a Halligan? I think we might have looked at one of these. It's like this interesting tool. It's got like a little pinpoint so that you can pop out like bolts, and it's like a 2-man job, but you can get like a door secured with a piece of iron, like open in a minute. So I think that's what we're talking about here. Regardless, officers had access the entire time to a Halligan, a crowbar-like tool that could have opened the door to the classrooms even if it was locked, the source said. Let's just take a quick look. 2 minutes after Ramos entered the building, 3 Uvalde police officers chased him inside. Footage shows that Ramos fired rounds inside classrooms 111 and 112, briefly exited into the hallway, and then re-entered through the door. Yeah, this is exactly it. We looked at exactly this thing. Super interesting. Let's see if you can... Ooh, that's a terrible image. Yeah. Anyways, it's got like a really thin, pointy part that you use to pop out. So he exited into the hallway and then re-entered through the door. So if they had been watching, they would have been able to see that it was unlocked. Ramos then shot at the officers through the closed door, grazing 2 of them with shrapnel. The officers retreated to wait for backup and heavy tactical equipment rather than force their way into the classrooms. Pedro Pete Arredondo, the Uvalde School District Police Chief and the on-scene incident commander, has said he spent more than an hour in the hallway of the school. he told the Texas Tribune that he called for tactical gear, a sniper, and keys to get inside. He said he held officers back from the door to the classrooms for 40 minutes to avoid gunfire. Yo. Oh, good morning, Lautaro Mama. How are you today? A little positive hello before you bring on the bad content. We'll get to some positive content later. I swear it's in there somewhere. We just got to keep digging. It's there, I swear. It is necessary for us to be aware of these situations weird, so I'm turning on my world is bad self. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like... Here, let me think of a positive analogy. Like the food's gone bad, right? Like, rot isn't wrong. There's nothing wrong with rot. Rot happens. Food spoils. And if someone were to eat it, they might get sick. And I feel like looking at the rot in society is kind of like saying, hey, society, if we keep this up, we're going to eat it. We're going to eat the rot. And that's going to make us sick. I think that's kind of the analogy I like. That keeps a nice critical distance where it's not like oh, woe is me. What am I going to do to fix the world? You know, we're only one person. But the more we're able to sort of understand what is causing illness, maybe the better we are at dealing with the things, treating the symptoms. Yeah, exactly. And like oftentimes when we're looking at this, we're seeing a whole system at play, right? There's one man at front, but we're seeing a bunch of systems either failing or not failing, like the system for white supremacy and upholding police authority above all else. That system seems to be working. The system for like going into schools in the event of a shooting, which is the going standard after Sandy Hook, that system failed. So we can kind of look at it that way and be like, oh well, you know, that's an interesting sort of rot. I wonder what's gonna happen next. And also there's some clownish stuff that are just, I don't know, when you look at some of the darkness, you'll see some really funny stuff. Some really funny stuff. Like when a custodian brought a large key ring, Arredondo said he tried dozens of the keys, but none worked. So like, there's this scene of Arredondo trying furiously key after key after key on a door where no one's at risk, while the door to the people at risk is broken, and that's what let the shooter in. And the police would know that if they had even tried the door once. They just like jiggled it, sent in a few guys, and the going motor point is like, y'all are supposed to go in. We want to switch over to all the positives in the world to keep up looking up and not down. Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. We'll get to like the Freedom Convoy. I'm considering maybe it would be fun to go like cover them live. That would be fun. We could talk music and poetry later. That's always lovely and positive. Okay, but Arredondo was not trying those keys in the door to classrooms 111 and 112, where Ramos was holed up, according to the law enforcement source. Rather, he was trying to locate a master key by using the various keys on doors to other classrooms nearby, the source and the Texas Tribune article said. Like, it's buffoonery. While Arredondo waited for a tactical team to arrive, children and teachers inside the classrooms called 911 at least 7 times with desperate pleas for help. One of the 2 teachers who died, Eva Morales, called her husband by cell phone after she was wounded and lay dying. The massacre occurred 2 days before the start of summer break, on the same day as a just completed awards ceremony for the 3rd and 4th graders. Oh, stop. Days after the massacre, Stephen McCraw, director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, said at a news conference, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, said at a news conference that each door can lock from the inside, and that when Ramos went in, he locked the door. That information was preliminary, the source said, and further investigation by the Texas Rangers has yielded new revelations about the door. As the investigation has unfolded, law enforcement has changed the story of the massacre several times, adding to public confusion over how police responded to the mass shooting, i.e., translation, they misled the public. Days after the shooting, DPS said the exterior door that Ramos entered had been left propped open by a teacher. It wasn't. She had closed it. And the agency also corrected early misinformation that school police shot at Ramos before he entered the school. No school police officers confronted him outside the school. He just crashed his car outside it, wandered around in the daze, and they're like, should we do anything about that guy? I don't know. You gonna do anything about it? He's got a gun. Wow. Well, it's not like it's our job to protect kids, so I guess phone it in. DPS and Uvalde city officials have refused to provide further details, citing an ongoing criminal investigation into the massacre by Uvalde District Attorney Christina Mitchell Busby. The Texas Rangers, with assistance from the FBI, are investigating the police response. Separately, the Justice Department is conducting a critical incident review of the police response. U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro from San Antonio is a Democrat. Said he was upset about the new details. Quote, "As more of the story comes out, I'm shocked like the rest of the country at the incompetence and dereliction of duty by multiple law enforcement agencies who failed to save those kids. I'm also increasingly disturbed by what looks like an attempt to cover up the truth by state officials and the local police department who have refused to comply with requests to release information to the public." One of the crazier parts of the story that is just emerging that I think might end up happening is that the Attorney General has the legal prerogative to decide whether, like, the public can find out about the case, is my poor layman's understanding. So I think, like, that's the route they're gonna take to, like, squash it completely and just, like, be like, what? What are you gonna do about it? State Representative Roland Gutierrez, a Democrat from San Antonio, whose district encompasses Uvalde, said he was unaware of the revelations about the door. If the door was unlocked the entire time, or if police could have forced their way in regardless, then people likely died unnecessarily, he said. If that's true, quote, "We probably could have saved 3 or 4 extra children," Gutierrez said. "The teacher probably could have been saved. We know 2 kids had gunshot wounds that they bled out from. We know that 1 teacher was alive when they pulled her out and she died on the way to the hospital." Oh my goodness. Almost done. "Any law enforcement agency whose officers waited in the hallway for more than an hour committed negligence," he said. "If the door could have easily been breached the entire time." Well, you know what the defense is going to be, right? They only waited for 50 minutes, so I guess it's not negligence. Gutierrez added that investigators should immediately clarify exactly how police responded or failed to respond to the massacre. Quote, "What were the failures?" Gutierrez continued. "Were they communication failures? Were they human error failures? Were they system failures? Or was it simply something as simple as not turning a doorknob?" We need to know that. And the fact that they are hiding all of this information from the public and community in Uvalde is just a tragedy. Yeah, this part right here really gets me, because when I've been in a position of problem solving, you can often, like, be approached by someone who's like, "I got all these complex issues," and you're just like, okay, but did you do the most basic of solutions, the most low cost, easiest? Like, did you check that it was turned on or plugged in, or the doorknob, it works, you know? Like, oh, that's not good. C'est pas bon, no. Okay, moving on. A teacher who survived Uvalde shooting slams the police response. Let's listen in.
The school teacher,
it's a bit long, so I might
was
skip
inside
ahead.
Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, is telling his story for the first time about the day that 19 children and 2 teachers lost their lives.
He spoke to Amy about what happened when the gunman entered his classroom, and now his law enforcement's response faces.
Okay, let's push forward.
Covers in the hospital from 2
I care about.
There
we go. This is what matters.
together. It was going to be a good day because,
Okay, so I'm just gonna increase the volume.
and we ate breakfast together. It was going to be a good day because it was going to be our day of awards, and some kids in my class that hadn't gotten an award, all year, we're going to get an award that day.
Reyes says the children.
AG stepping in with a final decision is probably a good move. No question that there needs to be a real improvement in law enforcement. Yeah, well, if you know anything about Attorney General Ken Paxton, oh, just you
Children
wait.
were enjoying the end of the year celebration, and while some students went home after the ceremony, 11 from his class stayed behind. They were watching a movie when all of a sudden gunfire rang out.
The kids started asking out loud, Mr. Reyes, what is going on? And I said, I don't know what's going on, but let's go ahead and get under the table. Get under the table and act like you're asleep. As they were doing that, and I was gathering them under the table and told them to act like they were going to sleep, is about the time when I turned around and saw him standing there.
The gunman entering classroom 112 at 11:33 a.m., then making his way into 111 through a connecting door, opening fire. Reyes shot twice, a bullet hitting him in the arm and lung, and a separate one striking his back. The 17-year teaching veteran hitting the ground.
I told my kids to act like they're asleep, so I'm gonna act like I'm asleep also.
Yo.
And I prayed and prayed that I would not hear none of my students talk.
Did you thought you were going to die?
God.
Yes, ma'am.
Then, while the gunman was still in the classroom, Reyes hearing police nearby. According to law enforcement, 7 officers were in the building by 11:35 a.m. They took gunfire and retreated. Reyes says a child in the connecting classroom, 112, called out for help.
One of the students from the next door classroom was saying, "Officer, we're in here. We're in here." And
Oh my
then,
goodness.
but they had already left. And then he got up from behind my desk, and he walked over there and he shot over there again.
The gunman going back into room 112 and firing more shots. At 11:58 a.m., children from other classrooms seen evacuating the school. At 12:03 p.m., a child from room 112 calling 911, telling dispatch where she was. By this point, 19 officers were inside the building, but no one went in. At 12:10, 12:13, and 12:16, more 911 calls.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Child is advising he is in the room full of victims at this moment.
Parents outside begging for police to save the children.
You know that they're kids, right? They're little kids. They don't know how to defend themselves.
You said you were praying. Do you remember what you were praying for? What you were saying in your prayers?
I prayed the Lord's Prayer. I prayed my Hail Mary.
Reyes says eventually he heard officers come back, telling the gunman through the door they want him to come out to talk, that they don't want to hurt anybody. Then silence again. More 911 calls, including from Reyes's classroom. But it isn't until 12:50 p.m., 1 hour and 17 minutes after the gunman entered the classrooms,
Those
that
cowards.
Border Patrol busts in, killing the shooter.
They tried to negotiate.
Just bullets everywhere, and then I just remember Border Patrol saying, get up, and I couldn't get up.
Did you feel abandoned in that moment by police, by the people who are supposed to protect you?
Absolutely.
Dang.
After everything, I get more angry because you have a bulletproof vest. I had nothing.
Right.
I had nothing. You're supposed to protect and serve. There is no excuse for their actions. And I will never forgive them. I will never forgive them.
How many students were in your classroom when the shooter came in?
11 students.
Yo.
So the shooter killed every single student in your classroom.
What?
Yes, ma'am. That's when I got you thinking, you know. This family lost one. This family lost one. I lost 11 that day. And I just went to my parents and said, I'm sorry. I tried my best with what I was told to do. Please don't be angry with me.
He must have so much guilt.
Reyes said,
Man, that's really tough. And I hate to say this, but this is actually the soft punch here. Hey, Punch Drunk, how's it going? There's been discussions lately of, it's even hard to even say it, but to publish images of the children after, like for people to confront the real carnage, the actual American carnage that is being inflicted on school children. That was a discussion I heard on the media, and part of like one side is like, no, that's rough for the victims and it's out forever. And then the other side came from like Syrian refugees who were like about like images of atrocities, crimes against humanity, and being like, no, people need to talk about this. Nobody cares about us. Like, come on, absolutely put those images out. We're looking at them. So that got brought up in relation to this, and I wonder what you think. Like, should those images? What do you think that would help? Do you think it would harm? What do you think the net effect would be if those images got published?
Says no training could have prepared them for this. Even though the school had extensive protocols, he says laws have to change.
It all happened too fast. Training, no training, all kinds of training. Nothing gets you ready for this. We trained our kids to sit under the table.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought of, at the time.
Which, like, a lot of people would say is the worst thing to do. Run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight. It used to be that you'd send the kids out into the forest, and then they would, you pick them up after, let's say, if there was actually something really crazy. And that's generally, like, the protocol for scary, dangerous situations. Your brain doesn't work very well, so you got to fight or flight. It's usually safer to run than to fight. So you run, and you try to avoid fights until you absolutely have to, and then you actually do take the fight, right? And school children are being trained to hide in like very obvious spots. And the people who are going into the schools were raised in those systems, so they understand it. They get it. So they know exactly where to find the kids. Like, it's insane. Like, wake up, everybody. There's like a real, like, they're pushing. This is being pushed in one direction. It's bad.
But we set them up to be like ducks. You can give us all the training you want,
He said,
but it's gun laws have to change. It won't never change unless they change the laws.
Reyes says he doesn't think he can ever return to a classroom, but he's making it his mission to honor the lives of his students and two of his fellow teachers.
The only thing that I know that I will not let these children and my coworkers die in vain. Absolutely, I will not. I will go anywhere to the end of the world to not let my students die in vain. They didn't deserve this. Nobody in this world deserves this kind of pain. No mother, nobody deserves this. I will go to the end of the world to make sure things get changed.
And it was also really important for Mr. Reyes, for all of you to know that those two teachers who lost their lives, his friends, his co-workers, Eva Morales and Irma Garcia, he says they were awesome, amazing educators, and he wants the parents of their students to know that they, too, tried to do everything they could to protect them. So he says, yes, you heard that it's his mission. He wants to see change. He really wants to see the legal age to buy a gun raised. He thinks that will go a long way. And also, I just want to send out my love and thoughts and prayers to him because he's going back into surgery today. He's already had multiple surgeries. He has a very long road to physical recovery. Mentally, I don't know that he'll ever get there.
Why he kept saying over and over again, please let the parents know I did everything that I could. He did not have a bulletproof vest. Yeah. The others did. Yeah. And there is so much more to the interview that we could not share because it was so...
There was not a dry eye in the room where we were shooting that because there's no way you can't hear what Mr. Reyes has to say, what he lived through, and not feel and hopefully want to take some sort of action. I mean, we've if not now, when? You know, we've said that so many times.
It's just heartbreaking.
If you can't hear that and want to make a change, and I don't know what's wrong with you, but you know, the horror doesn't stop for the families, and it doesn't stop for Mr. Reyes and the parents. Yeah. I mean, it's just unimaginable.
Thank you for bringing that to us.
Yeah,
I know it's hard to do.
Thank you.
Whoa, what just happened there? That was weird. Okay, so
all day long, ABC News
that's
is going
it
to
for
be
that segment. That's all the news there is for this horrible, horrible arc that America is going through. I don't know what to tell you, everybody. I don't know what to tell you. It's happening. It's a thing. It's hard to look at it and it's hard to look away. But there, we are now aware. Let's move on. So, yeah, apparently, the Texas Republican Party is losing its goddamn mind, everybody. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. It's hard enough to listen to the comments and personal details from survivors. I don't think the real life visuals will further make a difference. That's fair. I can respect that. I think especially for like parents, it's just so emotionally triggering. I'm not really sure how coherent you're gonna be after that. Like what the impact of it is. But there's also like I guess something to be said about how America has very much numbed itself. Like I don't know if it's I don't think this story is hitting as hard as you think it is in Texas, right? Like there's certainly a segment of the population in Texas that is defending the cops, that is like, oh no, they did what needed to be done. Okay, trans panic, everybody. They're coming after our most vulnerable. The Republican Party of Texas passed its latest platform on Saturday, including 2 sections of anti-LGBT beliefs. In the platform voted on by delegates at the party's biannual convention, one section called Homosexuality and Gender Issues, Jesus guys, states, quote, homosexuality is an abnormal lifestyle choice. I thought, bro, what is wrong with these folk? They're literally trying to drag America back like 50 years. Chris Halbone, his last name is Halbone, called that line, quote, an unnecessarily gratuitous addition to the Republican Party of Texas's platform. Halbone is president of the Log Cabin Republicans of Houston, an organization that represents LGBT conservatives. He's got a very silly name, Halbone, but he's a Log Cabin Republican. He's one of the good guys, everybody. Quote, we exist to advance that niche voice within the Republican Party because there are plenty of gay conservatives out there. There are plenty of lesbian conservatives out there and plenty of trans conservatives out there, Halbone told the Texas Newsroom Saturday. And some of them are absolute clowns who are waking up to the reality that their party hates them. We're going to come across a clip later of Madison Cawthorn being, I don't know, I haven't watched the clip, but of him being, I guess, accosted by people within his own party. The delegates also agreed on language that said Republicans don't believe on, quote, granting special status to LGBTQ people, and also agreed on a plank that states the party opposes all efforts to validate transgender identity. Halbone said he does agree the state should not grant special treatment for people who identify as LGBTQ+. Currently, they do not have any special status in the country. Jesus. Wait, are they regressing? Oh, they're coming. They's a coming. If you're paying close enough attention, all this rhetoric about grooming and stuff, they're gonna start like identifying who's trans. Like that's the next step. As dark as things seem to be, we're in the good times. We're in the events leading up to section of Wikipedia, so hang tight. Hang on to your butts. The Republican Party of Texas has been engulfed in controversy over its stance on LGBTQ issues, including excluding Log Cabin Republicans of Texas from the convention. This sentence needs to be excluded. Whoever let this sentence exist ought to be fired. Including, excluding? Come on. Spare you? Oh, It's the whole segment, though. It's a whole segment. The party twice rejected the group's application to have a booth at this year's convention. David Palmer, the public relations director of the Log Cabin Republicans of Houston, said there is no legitimate reason for the rejection. Quote, this is a political organization and not a church group. Palmer said, I think that the rules of the Republican Party of Texas have been disproportionately used against us to keep us from having a presence at the convention. Gosh, there's almost like there's a word for that, and it starts with an Is it marginalization? Are you feeling marginalized as a gay person in the Conservative Party? Jesus. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is a little unhinged. Okay. I often hear Republicans say they want to make a bigger tent and to be more inclusive. It's clear that many Texas Republicans don't want LGBTQ plus people in it. Here's some of the flyers being passed around at the Texas GOP convention. Wow, font. Why did they take a highlighter to it? My eyes. Oh my gosh. RPT and SREC against Pride Coalition. Look at these folk. Oh my gosh. Fox News, top headlines. Oh boy. Oh boy. RPT's answer to RNC Pride Coalition. What'd they say? Whereas the Republican Party of Texas pledges fidelity to our party platform and affirms its stand that the most basic and fundamental building block of any society is marriage between one woman and one man. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Republican Party of Texas does not believe that building GOP versions of left-wing movements furthers our cause and does not support this action by the Republican National Committee, and be it further resolved that the Republican Party of Texas encourages the Republican National Committee to strengthen and broaden its engagement and its relationships with conservatives and evangelical organizations who have provided infrastructure, strength, and electoral victories for the Republican Party. Separation of church and state is gone. Gone. Inclusivity, canceled. Straight to jail. I thought marriage was between man and she. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Loud tower youth. I don't think... What else is this? And this is all like... quotes from friggin' Fox News. Oh man, this is bad stuff. The decision to deny the group... Oh yeah, and just to kind of like drive it home... just where we're going, and we'll give a little break to the reading. So Fox News is driving this, of course. So let's listen to Tucker Carlson foment hatred towards Dan Crenshaw.
I passed McCain. Hey, I passed McCain. Look at I passed McCain right here. You're a rhino. You're a globalist. You're a globalist rhino. You're a globalist rhino. Hey,
What's the money? How much money on whether Tucker Carlson called him a globalist rhino before this happened?
you're a globalist rhino. I passed McCain. I passed McCain. I passed McCain. You're a globalist rhino. You're a globalist rhino.
To continue.
You know, the more I think about it, it takes a lot of gall for Eye Patch McCain to attack moms who are worried about baby formula as quote, pro-Russia. I mean, that's one of the most outrageous things I think I've ever heard.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here's another clip that was circulating.
This is $5 here, and you're giving Ukraine all this money? And red flag laws too, Dan? That's ridiculous.
Journalism.
Hey, Dan, why are you on the World Economic Forum Young Global Leaders? World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. Dan, what's Klaus Schwab's number? You got Klaus Schwab's number?
His voice is cracking.
Klaus Schwab's number, Dan. Hey, Dan, World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. Hey, Dan. Dan, how are they? Dan, what's better, Aspen or Davos? Hey, Dan.
Please,
Dan, how's
just like...
Davos? Nice mountains there, Dan? You like Klaus Schwab? Hey, is Klaus Schwab your grandpa, Dan? Do you have Thanksgiving dinner at his house, Dan?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. These are fully grown humans who dress themselves, know how to operate technology, are able to go to a time and a place coordinated with other people and clout farm off of it and be rewarded by Tucker Carlson, the most watched TV show.
Hey, Dan, does Santa Claus give you presents on Christmas, Dan? What are you doing? Charles Barkley, move.
Charles Barkley?
Dan,
His voice
Klaus
is
Schwab
cracking.
is literally your daddy. Sir? Huh.
Take it easy.
Dude, he just sold us out. Why are you defending this guy?
You have a right to voice your opinion, but not to beat people.
Beat people? I didn't push nobody. That was another tall guy named Alex.
That was the other guy I'm with, whose name I know.
Guys, look up the World Economic Forum. Dan Crenshaw is a sellout. Just because he has R by his name does not make him a good person.
Oh, this is so good. Yo, look at this. Look at this guy's cowboy hat.
Guys, look up the World Economic Forum. Dan Crenshaw is a sellout.
Oh my god. I must have it. I must have this hat. Oh my god, I want this hat so badly. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a cowboy hat with "Let's Go Brandon" on it. Wow, that is some that's an energy. That's a vibe.
Because he has R by his name does not make him a good person. Vote against him, Dan. We vote against Dan. Wake up. Dan is a fraud.
Sheeple. Wake up, sheeple. He's doing the meme. If they were in school, they'd be sent to the principal. Like, really? Yeah, no, absolutely.
Dan is a fraud.
Conservative.
Dan Crenshaw is a World Economic Forum sellout.
I'm so surprised.
Dan Crenshaw is a World Economic Forum young global leader. Huh? I don't care if I'm pissing you off. You're the reason we're in this situation, man.
He's getting confronted by the old lady. Wow. Yo, this is next level.
Dan Crenshaw is a fraud.
Dan Crenshaw's a traitor. He needs to be hung for treason.
Whoa! Did you? Whoa! That's
Dan Crenshaw.
Damn, these people are not doing okay. They just called for him to be executed. That's probably not something I can keep watching. We're gonna move on away from this segment. It's starting to scare me. All right. So the other thing I had that's a bit of a kind of odd duck, just to sort of break up the content, is Dolly. Have you been seeing these go around? It's an artificial intelligence that can generate images from any prompt. So give me something to give me a word. Give me a name, place, or object. Name, place, or object. I need a suggestion from the audience. Give me somewhere. I don't know, somewhere that someone works. Or yeah, give me somewhere that someone works. Or an occupation, some sort of job. Job. We'll do like. Come on, chat. I need you. I need your input. I can't do it alone. It wouldn't be an improv segment if I made it up myself. Places that people work. Alright, y'all are taking way too long, so I'm gonna move on. When you figure out a spot that people work, we'll come back to it. Here we go. We've got still the Texas GOP being kind of crazy, kind of unhinged. Texas GOP platform calls for ban on teaching sexual matters while requiring students to learn about the dignity of the preborn human. This is from the Texas Tribune. The party planks specify. Okay, doctor. There we go. All right. So, Salvador Dali. Operates on a patient. Oh, it's gonna work. Okay, so this thing often like falls over, and so you can type something in, and if it's not overloaded, it'll run for like a minute or two, and then the artificial intelligence is like using information it's taken from the internet just based off of what it knows about Salvador Dali, what it knows about operating, and what that might mean in context with the word patient. So I'm not using doctor, but I'm going to see if it picks up that Salvador Dali is the doctor in this situation. I'm going to see if test it a little bit. And then it produces like 9 images that are like its guess. So we'll come back to that. The party planks specify what the Texas GOP believes Students should and should not be taught in the classroom about gender and sex, signaling further shifts to the right. Critics say such policies would be harmful and discriminatory. Look at this, like, crazy image. Oh my goodness. The human story, conception to birth. Like, that's not scientific. That's not science. I don't know, man. This is raising all sorts of red flags for me. The little tiny baby, like, oh my god, that's diabolical. Diabolical. Okay. So, okay. How about Salvador Dali is a doctor? Oh wait, how about doctor comforts patient with Pop-Tarts? There we go. And it looks like it's working. Okay, so we'll come back to that. The Texas Republican Party on Saturday voted on 2 new party platform planks aimed at barring the teaching of sex and sexuality in schools, while simultaneously calling on Texas schools to teach the dignity of the preborn human and that life begins at fertilization. Okay. All right. This should be good. One policy proposal called on state lawmakers to prohibit the teaching, exposure, and or discussion of sexual matters, mechanics, feelings, orientation, or gender identity issues. Wow. As well as remove related books or materials from schools. Jesus, literally censor the library? Quote, the issue of gender has nothing to do with education, said Cindy Castilla, president of the Texas Eagle Forum and who served on the party platform committee. Quote, education is about reading, writing, math, science, history, and fine arts. Maybe some of that there foreign language and PE. Schools aren't the social educators of our kids. End quote. She literally left out social studies and history. Did she leave out history? Okay, so what the fuck? You gonna teach history and just pretend like sex and sexuality isn't a part of that? How are you gonna teach about some of the most fuck it. Elsewhere, the GOP platform also added that Texas students should learn about the dignity of the preborn human and that life begins at fertilization, like literally indoctrination. This like isn't even an idea supported in very many religious communities. What religious community takes this stance besides like evangelical Baptists? Like what? Quote, that goes back to biology, back into teaching sex as biology, said Julie Pickren, who told the Texas Tribune that sex education has a place only if it follows state health education standards and is age appropriate. Quote, if it has a heartbeat, it's a human, right? You're saying life begins at fertilization? Which is it? Oh, man, they can't even get their story straight, man. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's so embarrassing. Pickren, a Republican, is running for the State Board of Education district that represents Southeast Texas. Incumbent Matt Robinson is not running for re-election. The platform plank does not specify which grades should get these lessons, except to say that high school students should read the Woman's Right to Know booklet. Critics say that booklet, written by the state, includes scientifically unsupported claims and shames women seeking abortion care. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Oh my God. So the state is supposed to consult with medical organizations to provide objective, non-judgmental, and accurate scientific information. They did it. They made some revisions, and then the state just is like, yeah, no, we're just not going to do that. Among major changes, the new draft uses your baby when describing gestation development as early as 4 weeks, rather than medical terms such as fetus. Wow, absolutely insane. These people are very insidious. It's because they know that the actual arguments don't hold up when you confront like doctors and stuff on this. Like, I don't know, man. The platform plank also states that students should witness a live ultrasound and watch a miracle of life type video. The 1982. That's 40 years. Oh man, they really want to take us back. The 1982 film. What is happening? Oh my god, I've seen this. 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 Oh my god. Again, are these adults who don't think sexuality be taught in school? Then where do kids learn these topics? From porn. From porn. The kids learn it from porn generally. And from each other, which is awesome. Kids know so much about sex and sexuality as they explore. When I was in university, one of my first years, a really cute girl, like, kind of made friends with me in class, and like a week later, invited me to, like, for free pizza, and I get there, and it's one of these crazy folk. They're pro-lifers, and I was sat down and ate pizza while being shown clips from this miracle of life, and it's all sorts of really shot, and I couldn't eat the pizza anymore because it's just like, what are you showing? And then it was really shocking, emotionally jarring images juxtaposed with like someone giving a lecture unchallenged, just going line by line about why it's more logical XYZ with no debate. And I remember exiting and being like, wow, they really wanted to convince me of something, so now I'm really not going to be convinced. And ever since then, I have had extremely skeptical views of the pro-lifer music, pro-lifer movement, which at this point I think is just anti-woman. It's just a misogynist cult, just a cult of misogyny at this point. I don't care if you're a woman and you're a pro-lifer, you're in a cult of misogyny. It's deeply perverse. Yeah, it's all around bad. Kristen Yelana, executive director of the Texas Women's Health Caucus, said the push to teach public school students that life begins at fertilization represents a broader push by the Texas Republican Party to broadly establish a legal foundation to claim a fetus is a person with constitutional rights. Quote, they want to get to the point where we can say, well, no, this is a person. So they require legal protections, criminal protection, constitutional protections. They have rights that are just as valid and equal. So therefore, you can't do certain things. Yelana said, yikes. During the last regular legislative session, Representative Steve Toth, representative of the Woodlands. What a scary sounding. It's from the Woodlands. He filed a bill that defined personhood at fertilization and would provide due process to a fetus. The bill died in committee. The State Board of Education recently wrapped up its review of health curriculum standards, which include requirements to teach about fertilization in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. Quote, my thought is to leave well enough alone. What we put in the standards is factual and balanced. So, yeah, the GQP, everybody, they're starting to ramp up. Here is some more, except they're calling Biden illegitimate, which is bad.
I'll never be the same in Jesus' name.
Oh.
God bless you.
What is this?
It's my body.
Oh, this is something totally different. This is somebody standing up and that's actually worth watching. So we're at a church convention and somebody's going to protest.
Never, never, never. I'll never be the same in Jesus' name. God bless you.
It's my body, my choice. It's my body, my choice.
Chapter 4,
Overturn, no. Hell no. My body, my choice. I am who I say I am. I do what I say I can do because I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice.
Immediately pushing them out. Wow, getting applause. That's interesting. Or getting applause because she's getting kicked out. Probably applause to support it, right? So, yeah.
I mean,
Don't autoplay. Texas Republicans acted on multiple resolutions and platform changes at their state convention this weekend, including declaring that President Joe Biden was, quote, not legitimately elected, and demanding an end to abortion. The Texas GOP's convention in Houston reinforced how many remain fixated on former President Donald Trump's baseless claims of widespread fraud in the 2020 presidential election, even after the House panel investigating the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol presented evidence that those claims were false and showed testimony from Trump's closest advisors saying they did not believe them during televised hearings. Earlier this week, the party's permanent 2022 Platform and Resolutions Committee advanced a resolution claiming the 2020 election had violated the Constitution. Quote, we reject the certified results of the 2020 presidential election, and we hold that acting President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. was not legitimately elected by the people of the United States. That's fascism, everybody. It's happening. It's happened. They crossed it. They crossed the Rubicon. Fuck. Shit. That's really bad. That's really bad. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Convention delegates also voted on a measure calling for equal protection for the preborn. Quote, we urge lawmakers to enact legislation to abolish abortion by immediately securing the right to life and equal proaction of the laws to all preborn children from the moment of fertilization, because abortion violates the U.S. Constitution by denying such persons the equal protection of the law, it states. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's like Texas seceding. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Shit. That's kind of freaking me out. I ain't gonna lie. Yikes. That's a yikes for me, dog. Shit. Here's some January 6th stuff, and let's look at the Dolly thing. Doctor comforts patient with Pop-Tarts. Based. This is pretty good. Do those look like Pop-Tarts? I feel like we're all over the place in this stream. First, we're talking about the descent into the bad place, and now we're talking about doctors giving patients Pop-Tarts. Okay, what's another one? SpongeBob SquarePants fishes for submarine sandwich. Let's see. Okay, so this is some stuff from January 6th. We're gonna go over that Mike Pence hid in a parking garage. I'm just gonna go to the washroom while this plays.
And back with me is MSNBC legal analyst Charles Coleman Jr., a civil rights attorney and former Brooklyn prosecutor. These guys have been friends for a long time, so happy to have them with me together. Officer Dunn,
So yeah, I'm just gonna let them roll. I'll be back in like 1 minute.
I just want to first start with you. I want to thank you for your defense of democracy on that day. And I just want to ask how you're doing, because you went through something traumatic. You've had to relive it several times, and we saw you get emotional during some of the testimony. So how are your spirits?
It's all right. You know, I've had well, thanks. Good to be here.
Yes,
you know, right?
likewise, brother.
No, but I'm doing all right. The hearings and everything, they are bringing out a lot of emotions. Yeah. But it also is bringing out a lot of facts. So we had our opinions about what happened. Everybody thought, oh, we know what this is about. We know what happened. But being able to actually have those confirmed now through these hearings, it's I could feel a little vindicated for feeling the way that I did.
Yeah.
So.
That's good to know. I'm just curious, because you're saying we've got all these facts in the hearings. What has been the most revealing thing that you've heard during the hearings?
That's a hard one, because like I said, I thought a lot of these things that are already, I didn't know how, okay, the most revealing thing has been John Eastman. Yeah. I had no idea how much of a scumbag that guy is. Yeah. I didn't pay much attention to, you know, what went on behind the scenes to formulate the plot of January 6th. I just dealt with the execution.
Because you were right there on the front line.
Correct. So I had no idea what was going on. But now being able to see what has been going on about it, what a total horrible human being that man was.
Yeah.
So, or is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, Charles, I think about what led to this point. You know, this is why I'm hesitant to say, you know, oh, Mike Pence is such a hero. Like, you know, you want credit for something that the Constitution dictated, but you were still a part of an administration that very much led to this moment today. So it's going to be a lot of hero painting after.
Yeah, we've really got to be careful about this narrative that romanticizes Mike Pence. Let's be very clear about something. He did the right thing. He did what he was supposed to do, but Mike Pence is no hero.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to be honest about that in terms of this conversation. And the reality is, and you've said it, you just said it, there are so many different things that this administration did that were on the fringes of legality, if not infringing upon the rights of Americans, disenfranchising them, that led us to this place and led us to this point that Mike Pence was complicit in for the duration of this term. And so while you stand up and do the right thing once, you get a clap. You get one applause. You are not now lauded as this hero, and this does not erase the entire tenure of who you were in office up until this point.
Yeah.
This guy's been super based. Mike Pence is a coward, and we shouldn't be valorizing him. And that's a really good take.
And the clap is generous because you still get the side eye for me, to be honest. You know, Officer John, because you were there and experienced it in a way that none of us can even remotely relate to. I was amongst the crowd that day, but I was not inside the Capitol, and I did not feel like my life was in danger. You did. What does justice look like to you?
So it's interesting that you say that. I had a talk with a few of my coworkers, you know, in light of the hearings and all the information that's coming out. And we say, you know, I've been fighting. The reason I spoke up is for accountability and justice. And I asked them, what do you think accountability to? What is your definition of accountability? And I had to think about it because I was like, is it jail? Is it never? So I had to think about it. So I came up with the for myself, whatever it takes to make sure they or nobody else ever does it again. That's what accountability looks like to me. You find me $10,000, yo, all right, I'm good. I ain't gonna do it no more. Chill. You find a millionaire $10,000, whatever. That's okay. That's it. Like some of these,
that's a really good point.
Some of these sentences that some of these rioters have gotten had to serve 10 days in jail on the weekend.
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
Like that's not accountability.
Some people got to go to Mexico
that's what I'm saying.
on vacation.
So that's not accountability. So whatever it takes, and that's the Justice Department. That's their job. You know, we do the enforcement of the law. They do. You know, they interpret the laws and stuff like that. So that's their job. So whatever it takes for them, somebody not to do that again.
Yeah.
What's it going to take, everybody, for them not to do that again? Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene is telling the Proud Boys to dress appropriately for protests. Former head of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, and 4 other members of the group were charged. It was with seditious conspiracy. That's right, scheming to overthrow the government. I think there's been like 800 people who have been charged so far. Yeah. So hopefully they're coming for them and they're starting to move up the chain. If convicted, they could face a fine. I think we already know about this, but they could face a fine up to 20 years. Marjorie Taylor Greene has advised protesters to dress appropriately in reaction to a recent incident at a drag queen storytime event at a library in California. Greene, a Republican who we know who she is, offered the advice on her podcast on Friday and showed a tweet featuring a man who had been involved in the protests. Yeah, there's actually some serious weight being thrown around finally. It's nice to see. The man was wearing a t-shirt that showed what appeared to be a semi-automatic weapon and the phrase, quote, "kill your local P-word," which Greene suggested was not a helpful way for protesters to be dressed. Police believe a group of men who stormed the event at the San Lorenzo Library in East Bay, San Francisco on June 11th may be members of the far-right group Proud Boys. The men reportedly shouted anti-LGBT slurs. Quote, "This is one of the Proud Boys," Greene said. "They went and protested a drag queen story time And they disrupted the story time, and now you can see that the sheriff's department there is opening a hate crime investigation into the protest against the drag queen story time. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident as a potential hate crime, but no charges have been brought. And I'm not going to say what these horrible, horrible people shouted at those kind drag queens. So, yeah, I mean, the rhetoric's starting to heat up. Here is SpongeBob SquarePants fishing for a submarine sandwich. It's kind of chaotic, to be honest. Only one of them makes a lot of sense. Ooh. Okay, what else? What else we got here? King Kong climbs? What's he climbing? It can't be the Eiffel Tower. Like Mount Rushmore or the Taj Mahal. Let's see if that works. Okay, all right. We're moving on. One of the clips I wanted to show, but I'm actually not certain I can, is if you remember all those lads who were dressed in the same uniform who got picked up in the U-Haul. This is where they were going. This is what they're aiming to do.
I don't think it's raining.
Looks like some of them did show up.
He's a little confused if you can't tell.
Y'all sound mad.
So this is protesting Uvalde, Idaho.
I don't think they're organized. I mean, one of them just met the other one next to them.
These are not... That's scary, man. Someone shows up to a protest with that. I don't want to be at that protest anymore. That's fucking wild.
Let me get that.
And they got their shitty
Said old Vanguard America flyer.
handouts. Oh my goodness.
It's not on there. They took it off. It was at the bottom.
Yo, appreciate you. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Can I get one else? Yeah, you can take his? No,
yeah, yours.
He's getting back, so I want yours. It's the same.
I'm Sarah.
Yeah, like I'm not. This is next level. I feel so Canadian when I look at this stuff. I'm just like, whoa.
Really nice. Really wholesome. Good stuff. It really belongs right to me.
Yeah, left wingers bring umbrellas, right wingers bring AR-15s. Oh my goodness.
Thanks for coming out.
This is what we're up against. He's got a little revolver. Who does he think he is? A Texas Ranger?
Yeah, that's also in practice.
Bro.
Yeah.
But it's just to go with the whole thing I got going on.
Yeah, you hear that? He admits it. My wife. He admits it. It's just about the looks. It's just about the looks.
Also in practice.
Yeah. But it's just to go with the whole thing I got going on.
Yeah, you hear that? Oh my God, he's a poser.
I mean, I like.
What's your thing? Why are you here?
Why am I here? Sexual orientation, or there's a line.
I don't want to hear it. You're in camo at a public protest, my guy. You look so goofy right now.
It's not. This is not.
Hey,
no
it's
cause
a bad
of
day to
action.
stop sniffing glue.
No cause of action. You ever guilty? I prefer not to identify myself.
Okay. How do you not to?
Why?
Because you're gonna be trespassing this work.
Why?
Trespassing.
Is this an amplified device?
I just told you.
Amplifying your voice, yes.
No, you could show me the code.
I don't need to show you the code right now.
You do need to show me the code.
He's arguing that it's not.
Sergeant, what code am I violating?
Falls under our disorderly code, sir.
How am I? I'm preaching the gospel. Preaching the gospel is
can't
not
have anything that's amplified.
Okay, I won't use it then. You've been trespassed. You need to leave immediately. How?
Just you. It's per our code.
Just me.
Yeah, these guys, yeah, more than welcome to stay. That is not an amplified device. If you don't leave at this point, you will be arrested and taken to jail. Wow. Okay. As record, I'm being threatened to be arrested if I do not leave.
Yes.
Okay. This is a legal action against the city of Coeur d'Alene. Okay. You understand that?
Do we have this on video?
Yeah. So you need to leave now. Okay. I'll leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leave.
Yeah. Bye.
Quiet.
We've explained it to him.
Yeah, but you said yes.
These
Okay,
people
now,
do not
for me
understand
to,
words.
okay, for me to raise my voice, I want to get clarification.
Oh, he's getting his gloves on.
Nobody warned him. Nobody warned him.
Oh.
You guys are gonna
He's gonna get arrested.
Trespass. You need to leave, or you will go to
public
jail.
place?
You guys are going to arrest him before you warn them.
Title 18, Section 242 and 241.
You about to
This
get
is a
arrested?
conspiracy.
Color of law. Okay.
Under the color of law, deprivation
You know
of rights.
You know we're right.
That's fine.
What did she just say?
Before you warn them.
Title 18, Section 242 and 241. This is a conspiracy.
Color of law. Okay.
Under the color of law, deprivation
You know
of rights.
You know we're right.
Conspiracy, everybody.
That's fine.
You
That-
said,
that-
sir?
Just like
Sergeant,
Uvalde.
You said amplified device. That is not amplified. It's not powered except by human talking, just like I'm talking with you.
They're trying to debate bro
How's
their
it
way out
causing
of
a
it.
problem?
I see no disorder here.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys supposed to. Is this your guys' place? This.
I'm just walking by.
What is happening? Why is he putting
However,
your
this
glove
is a violation of rights.
God will uphold His law.
No, there is a
his
law
law.
here as well. Deprivation of rights under the color of law.
Thank you.
Title 18, Section 242. 241 because the three of you.
Is this singing? Whoa. There you go.
It's going to be upon all these people.
He still
and
hasn't
it's
left.
because of this. This is just a sign. Killing babies and homosexuality, tolerance of homosexuality
See it?
is what's
Christo-fascist.
bringing on the judgment.
The state is not God.
We're not allowed to be in the park for the rest of the day.
Why not?
Because it falls under disorderly conduct. So
Why you just stop the disorderly conduct?
you need to leave the park.
Well, the people that you should be kicking out is the people who are dressing up as drag queens.
You need to go right now. It's time to leave the park.
Which is wrong. You guys know that that's wrong. Well, you should know. It's wrong.
He's a transphobe.
Pass from the park. You need to leave, please.
Leave
This is the
transphobe.
lawlessness. I'm preaching righteousness.
Preaching
so
righteousness.
You kick righteousness
I
out.
understand that's your opinion, so
And you're
we're asking
standing
you to
in
leave the park.
defense of lawlessness.
Oh my
And
God.
God is going to hold you accountable for that, guys.
This is some good hogwatch.
It's your last chance. Leave or we're going to arrest you.
I'm walking away.
Okay. Have a good day. Do not come back. You're going to jail.
What you guys call righteousness? The only person speaking the truth and saying what's right.
I thought this
being
was
kicked
America.
out.
Look at
So
that
you can
fucking
encourage
back
this
pedal.
sodomy?
Look at the back pedal. Yo. Yo, I usually don't hate on religion, but dang, these people are something else. The rosaries. Whoa, that look. Whoa, that look. It's meditative. He's in deep trance. Nation of heaven? No.
Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Dang.
Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
Oh, they're going through each bead one by one.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at
How much brainwashing would it take? Like, these people in the back are not brainwashed. You can tell. These are real Americans who ain't got no brainwashing happen to them. They free. They standing. They look in comfortable attire. Now look at these folk. That is some brain. How much brainwashing would it take for you to go and kneel in the grass in the sun on a lovely day in suit and tie? Like, how much brainwashing would it take for you to do that? 100 church sessions? Not like these freedom-loving folk. Our first mistake was thinking that I was one of the sheep. It's pretty yikes. Definitely a yikes for me, dog.
We're gonna have to get him back out there.
Your kids be kids.
Woe unto them that are wise in their
What
own
is the
eyes.
difference between this and like Al-Qaeda? Like in just like religious militants fomenting overpowering the state in Afghanistan, like in Pakistan. Like what's the difference here?
And prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink
They
wine.
literally call themselves the base, and Al-Qaeda translates directly to the base. Like, wake up, sheeple.
Strength to mingle strong drink.
Father God,
Yikes.
just want to thank you so much for these amazing people that are here with us today, that are willing to stand on your behalf.
I'm actually tricking you. This is a Sunday service. It's only sermons from here on out. I'm trying to convert your soul.
Against
Repent.
the wiles of the devil, who goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, and he has chosen our kids to devour.
What?
That we will stand in that gap and not allow him
What?
to have his way
In
with our
Texas.
youth,
In
with our
Texas.
children, Lord.
In Texas, where police stood
You
by.
have appointed us to be your hands
Wow.
and your feet and your mouth in these perilous times.
Love you, Bob. Love you, Bob. I gotta get up. Hey, so quick question. Y'all know we're racist, right?
I know, right? Texas is a motherfucker.
Show me the white privilege card, man.
Y'all know we racist, right?
I got my card on.
What an
just so they
opener.
know.
What an opener. What?
Y'all know we're racist, right?
I know, right? Texas is a motherfucker.
Show me the white privilege card, man.
I got my card in my pocket. I got my card on me, just so they know.
Wait, what card said?
I'm gonna show it
The
to
white privilege card?
you. I have one. Authentic.
Yes.
Right.
Did you forget it?
No,
Why do you
got
think
it
he's
somewhere.
riding with us?
Oh yeah, I got it. I keep it.
Oh,
in
we're
my
racist.
Yeah, I got my white privilege card.
Oh, dude.
You thought it was bullshit. You thought it was bullshit. It's for real. I ain't doing no playing. I'm safe out here, brother.
What the actual fuck is happening? What the fuck was that? Did a black man just pull out his white privilege card to justify him being part of a white supremacist group? Is that what I just saw? Please, no. No. No, that's not possible. What? Oh, God. It's like going to the zoo.
Display of freedom and a sense of protection for yourself.
Look at that gun. I don't know if you can see it.
Stop the fight. Lord, we ask that you would change the hearts of the leaders of this community so that they can see evil for what it is. And Lord God, that we, in the hour that you call us to stand, will just simply stand. And God, as you promise, you will make our enemies flee before us. That we literally can make a table in the presence of our enemies. We can rejoice in the presence of our enemies. And we can show them the love that you have for them, Lord God. Right now, we ask that your truth would go out throughout this community.
I don't know about you, but I always thought it was an odd thing in Christianity that you're supposed to love your enemies, when like in other religions they just like try to challenge the whole us versus them binary that humans create. Like that so happens so that you just stop seeing people as enemies. Like I don't know, this whole love thy enemy thing, I don't think it works.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, that's always a good sign. Always a good sign. Always a great sign. The gang, the leather-clad gang, roaming the streets, shaking hands, strapped. That's comforting. God, the land is a pedestrian-friendly city. Stop for pedestrians. This editor is like definitely making jokes. Wow, look at these. This is a fucking Santa Claus parade.
These are
Out of
big
work
times
Santa Claus.
in our nation, in our city, in
Another
our
sermon.
lives. God, we just pray for the hearts and minds, business owners, politicians, localities, through the state, through the nation. This sin has to stop, Lord. We pray for your strength, your guidance, your direction, and your protection. In Jesus' name.
You're here, amen.
Amen. And you know what also we can pray for is more Be Weird content. Like, subscribe, and follow, and support the channel however you can, whatever makes you feel good. It's nothing like supporting small artists. Wee.
Good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for being here. You give me hope.
Hope, everybody.
And remember,
Hopium.
a little kindling can spark a big fire. And you guys are the kindling.
Yikes.
Take this back to your churches and
Oh my
ask
God.
them, why, Pastor, did you not participate and stand and be counted against the evil that is permeating and pervading our doggone society? What if we weren't here? What would this thing look like next year? There may be 5,000 of them marching down Sherman with little kids.
He's literally saying them. This is scary rhetoric. Oh my God.
Will they stay silent then? God forbid it.
Don't be trying to indoctrinate.
Yo, nobody had to translate that. That's in English, our mother tongue. We can hear it for what it is. It's very dangerous, very scary stuff.
Kids about different genders and everything else. Let kids grow up, decide who they want to be. If they want to be gay when they get older, let them be gay. Okay? Don't force an agenda on them, on an impressionable mind before they're mature enough to make an adult or a decision that's not going to impact the rest of their life. Because you know what? They say that young people 18 years old are not mature enough to buy a long gun, right? Well, if that's the case, why would a 4 or a 5-year-old be mature enough to decide that they're a female and want to cut their gender off? Or
Whoa, my God. Okay, not based. Psycho.
To
Transphobe.
give this, to make this available to children.
I misunderstood.
To normalize
These people are psychos.
transgenderism in a children's book. This is for kids who can't even read yet. So the child is going from a girl to a boy in this book.
I got a list of all these books. I tried to check out all of them. I couldn't get all of them because they were checked out. These are only 50 of them.
I've read a few of his that I didn't think
You know
were
what's
bad.
crazy? You know what's crazy? Most of
Freedom
these authors,
isn't free.
I was reading books from when I was a kid.
This kid's so edgy.
You're still a kid. You know what I mean? You're
Still a kid. Owned in the marketplace of ideas.
That's crazy. Most of these authors, I was reading books from when I was a kid. They're now doing these books. A kid. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean. Rolled. Absolutely rolled. Completely devastated. Oh my goodness. That old lady, like, crushed that child. Absolutely destroyed that child in the marketplace of ideas. You hate to see it.
R is for race. S is for sex. When a baby arrives, the doctor will say it's a boy or girl depending on their understanding of the baby's body. T is for transgender. You know best who you are.
Keep in mind,
Based.
the main characters in this book.
U is for understanding, love to learn.
Yo, these people are just like self-reporting so hard. Super hard. Like, they're parsing. Look at that word, understanding. Oh my God, they're trying to make our kids more empathetic.
B is for value. Live
You know what word you need for the word empathetic? Pathetic.
your beliefs out loud. W is for the world. We all share the earth.
What is it for you? Propaganda?
This is
this all supposed to
nasty. This is trying to indoctrinate a kid who can't even think yet. This is
You can't even think yet. But we're listening to you.
This is indoctrination of a kid.
Also, is it just me? Please don't send me to hell for this, but is this kid gender bending? I feel like this is like she's kind of, or they're playing both sides of it, you know? Got kind of like a boy mode going on in the top half, but like got fancy nails and a cute ring. Got like the aggressive vest with the eye patches, but you know, maybe the hair is let down a little bit. Like, is it me? Is it me, or is she like just unfortunately born into a culture where she probably just feel really normal, just being a bit more fluid?
Who all they will do is put this book in their mouth.
Are you trying to propose that they should not be allowed at the library, or are you just trying to...
These should not be allowed with taxpayer dollars. These
Not
are
allowed.
getting to kids' hands
Censorship.
that adults don't even know that these kids are receiving.
Well, these books right here, as a matter of fact, no, these books should not be in a library. There shouldn't be anywhere. You know what? Sex should be taught by parents. Parents should decide when children are to be taught by sex. Not a library, not a school, or what, anything like that. But anything that's taxpayer funded. All right, listen, we're not into censorship in any way, shape, or form. But it's the reason why you put a lock on your cabinets so children can't get into that and drink bleach and eat Drano. All right, like I said, we're not into censorship.
Are you talking about? Wait, what? How? Why are we talking about Drano? What does Drano have to do with sex and sexuality?
The material that are in these books here, this is not anything educational or teaching tolerance. This is straight up grooming. You know what? I do have a problem, and we do have a problem with material that is trying to play.
Yo, come on, look at this kid. Tell me you did not groom your child to be exactly like you. They literally have the exact same vest with like the same patches, the American flag in the same place, with the Panhandle Patriot patch on the exact same spot. Both of you are wearing hats. Like, come the fuck on. Come the fuck on. Are you really this insane?
And a seed in an impressionable mind that before they're mature enough to make a decision for themselves. Look, you want to be gay? I don't give a shit, okay?
Bullshit.
But you know what? Don't indoctrinate a child before he has an opportunity to have a mature brain and make a decision for himself. Let me give you an example. You want to wear a dress? I do not care. Do you want me to?
In 10 years, this is going to be a father who's like actually like weirdly extremely supportive of their trans kid. Like, he's gonna be broken down. Like, I don't know, Marlene. I don't know if I can stay president anymore.
Believe that you're a woman? No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm not your judge. We're not your judge. That's on you. You can call yourself anything we want. We don't care. But you know what? When you start trying to promote this stuff and you start pushing it on impressionable children, you're an asshole. Not only you're an asshole, you're a grooming asshole.
It's not good. Oh, this is a great video to watch. Hey, everybody. Oh, yeah. Hey, we got some uplifting content. You asked for it. Here it is. I want to dedicate this next clip to Loud Tyrant Mama, who wanted positive content while we were in the bad place. This is technically, very technically, the good place for 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Enjoy. Fan service.
And debunked. We're going to discuss a very common question. Can a man be a woman?
Dr. Levine, the government intervening.
Senator, transgender medicine is a very complex.
The answer, clearly, is yes.
Elliot Page came out publicly announcing he is transgender.
Some people are born men in women's bodies, women in men's bodies.
I was trying to live a life that wasn't me. It wasn't my life.
We've known this for quite a while. Transgender identity is reality.
Nice.
To suggest otherwise is insane patent nonsense.
Great to have you on board, Ben Shabibo, finally.
Gender identity is completely separate from sex.
Okay.
According to biology, sex is a spectrum. But typically, those who have the XY chromosomes are male. Those who have XX chromosomes are female. Gender is entirely socially constructed and thus separate from biology.
True. Based.
Gender would be all the various feminine qualities that adhere to womanhood, or the masculine qualities that adhere to being a male.
All those dudes.
You might just be a different gender with different pronouns because your gender is separate from your sex. The simple reality is that being transgender is part of the human condition.
Thanks, Dr. George
What's more,
Peterson.
if gender is a social construct created by society, all sexual inequalities could be laid at the feet of an evil gendered society. To pretend otherwise is nonsensical. Thank you all for being here. We stand between America and the darkness, and we will march until that darkness is banished forever, and all of our children can stand together in the sunlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Shapiro.
We just can't be sure that kids actually have the gender assigned to them at birth. If a boy is effeminate, she might actually be a girl. If a 12-year-old says that she is a girl, they ought to be treated with empathy and care. You can be a woman in a man's body, a soul in the machine, because gender and sex are completely different. The answer for what is man or what is woman is simple. I feel like a woman, therefore I am a woman. If you're a straight dude and you don't want to have sex with a trans woman, this makes you gay.
So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. This is not, in fact, Ben Shabibo speaking from the heart. I hate to burst your bubble, but somebody clip this and ship this. This is all just a ruse. Ben Shabibo does not believe any of those things. Yeah, but he was clipped really well into a very thorough, full-throated support for trans rights. It's really great to see. You really makes you feel better. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite stuff on the internet, when like right-wing transphobes get their entire like ideological position warped with clips of their own voice. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. And look, this is King Kong climbing the Taj Mahal. Didn't really work. Only this one, and this one looks kind of weird. I don't know. This one didn't work so well. Okay, what's another one? What's another one we could do? Ben Shabibo defends trans rights. Let's see if that works. All right, do your thing, artificial intelligence. Oh boy, that's such a good clip. I'm glad I kept that in the loop. I forgot about that. That's from a while ago. Okay, back to the bad place. So if you were wondering who the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, was, he was indicted 5 years ago, and he still hasn't gone to trial. Have you ever heard of that? Somebody getting indicted and just straight up not having to go to trial, mostly because he becomes the top cop in the state. Yeah, he's gonna be the one who quashes the story on Uvalde. He's gonna have a decision that you know what, it's on the down low right now. Like, I've only seen a couple things alleged to it, but let me see if I can pull it up. Legal theory Uvalde, where is it? There was a Uvalde theory to hide evidence from public. There was a story that was pretty... A legal loophole. There it is. A legal loophole may block access to Texas shooting records. As public pressure mounts for more information on the deadly Uvalde school shooting, some are concerned that Texas officials will use a legal loophole to block records from being released even to the victims' families once the case is closed. Since the May 24th shooting at a Texas elementary school that left 19 kids and 2 teachers dead, law enforcement officials have provided little or conflicting information, sometimes withdrawing statements hours after making them. State police have said some accounts were preliminary and may change as more witnesses are interviewed. During the growing silence, lawyers and advocates for the victims' families are beginning to fear that they may never get the answers. that authorities will close the case and rely on the exception to the Texas Public Information Law to block the release of any further information. Quote, they could make that decision. They shouldn't have that choice, said Democratic Representative Joe Moody of El Paso. So yeah, they might use a loophole to essentially quash it. And the person who's going to be making that decision is somebody who was indicted on like fraud, felony securities, fraud charges 5 years ago. And this was in 2019. So 8 years ago. You don't follow a lot of politics? That's cool. I know I often just try to go down the wormhole, but if you, oh, this one's weird. If you learn a little bit and then you pull on that string, it just keeps going and it just keeps going. It's just like, oh no, all these people know each other kind of thing. If you watch like the January 6th stuff, the committee, we're finding out like just how small that inner circle was. And we're still being introduced to new characters that we had never met before, like the lawyers who worked in the Trump campaign that I've never heard of, but who very clearly tell us that that everybody knew that the big lie was a big lie. But yeah, Texas is about to, because I don't know what happens to a state when families get burned that hard. You know what I mean? Like something very diabolical will be the outcome of that if they actually go that far. I don't know how you quell the anger of parents like that. I just don't know how. To keep on that trend, Associated Press, election deniers are quiet on fraud claims after primary wins. So this is something we're seeing where the fascists in the Republican Party are saying that there aren't legitimate elections in their state in more than a decade, but then when they win in a primary, they're like, oh, suddenly it's, I quote, I am beyond humbled by the overwhelming support of our campaign. Nevadans made their voices heard. You know, it's, if I lost, it's fake news, the election was stolen. If I win, you know, champagne and roses for all. So that's a really worrying trend. A House Democrat who obviously doesn't have a lot of power is trying to get Clarence Thomas to step down, mostly because his wife is implicated and is being invited to testify.
David Jolly, Meredith McGraw, and Roland Martin are still with us. I want to expand this January 6th discussion past the actual hearings. I want to talk about the future, okay? And I want to talk about Ginni Thomas. She's the wife, for folks out there who don't know, of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. And she is once again making headlines for all the wrong reasons. This is after reports that Ginni Thomas contacted John Eastman. The committee has invited her to testify. Now, Ginni Thomas told the Daily Caller that she looks forward to, quote, clearing up any misconceptions.
And John Eastman is that name, like, that is everyone should remember, because he's the one who made up this legal theory in search of a coup. And everyone told him it was bullshit. We heard testimony live that he was repeatedly told it was bullshit. And we got like that interesting lawyer with the bat that had justice on it saying, only 2 words I want from you right now. And it's like, what was it? Like orderly transition until John Eastman was forced into saying that. So Ginni Thomas was emailing him, and that's, we cannot miss that. If you see Ginni Thomas, I don't care if you watch me or if you see it later or don't catch it live, but at some point watch, if she actually does testify before the House committee, that's going to be insane. That's going to be crazy stuff.
Now, Meredith, this looks like it's still in the early stages, but is there any word yet on when that testimony will be and what the committee will focus on when the testimony happens?
No, but I think what the committee really is trying to do with all of these hearings is really make a clear case in all the different ways and all the different angles that former President Donald Trump and his team tried to exert pressure on different people. This coming Tuesday, we're going to be hearing from Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and others in Georgia who, of course, Trump famously called and tried to pressure to quote unquote, find votes to change the results of the election there. So with each of these hearings, last week it was the pressure campaign on Vice President Mike Pence, but they're showing all of the different ways that they tried to push people to act in certain ways.
Congressman, I want to talk about a recent New York Times report from last March. Actually, wait, no. I don't want to do the New York Times report. I want to talk about a New York Times story. They're telling me we're short on time, but I want to get to this point because it's something that Roland said earlier in the show, and it's something that...
It's definitely a take-home. John Eastman. Yeah. If you ever hear the name John Eastman, know that that man tried to overthrow the government. He tried to imagine a legal idea where the vice president could just ignore the election and just make a choice, and it would create a precedent where after every single election year the vice president could go rogue. Like, it was an absolutely diabolical idea. Everybody told him that. He knew it was illegal, and Trump knew it was illegal. Like, that's what basically the revelations boiled down to in a nutshell. They knew what they were doing was wrong. Criminal intent is basically what that boils down to.
That I've been talking about. So Jamel Bowie of the New York Times, he wrote an op-ed and that said this. He said, quote, "The easiest thing for Democrats to do, of course, is nothing." He goes on to say, if Democrats choose instead to act as a political party, they would do well to remember that if the tables were turned, their opponents would not hesitate to use every argument and every tool at their disposal. Congressman, if it were Republicans who were in the White House right now, if it were a Supreme Court justice appointed by a Republican, and we were talking about Ginni Thomas, who was the wife of someone else, wouldn't Republicans be all over this? Am I crazy?
Oh, they absolutely would. And look, I think Democrats on the Hill don't even need to consider the political consequences to realize if we do our job right, the American people are going to learn very damning information about the former president and Republicans, and they can make a political judgment. But I think in terms of going into November, Simone, to pick up on Roland's comment, do not let the Republican Party steal the platform of faith, the platform of freedom, the platform of love, the platform of parental rights, because their policies are actually antithetical to all of those things. And if today's Democratic Party can grab that mantle back from Republicans and say, we're the party of freedom, we're the party of freedom, regardless of your
freedom. I love that this is all boiling down to who's more free. Who's the party of freedom?
Faith. Now you're talking to the American people exactly how they understand it, and you can beat back on this false prophet narrative that's going through today's Republican Party.
Roland, I refer to this theory as Democrats need to be willing, or just anyone who cares about our democracy needs to be willing to go toe-to-toe at this point. Call it how it is, call balls and strikes, and I'm wondering if you think that is the path forward for...
That's my favorite. One of my favorite quotes was Chief John Roberts at the Supreme Court being like, the court's role is only to call balls and strikes. It's like, buddy, buddy.
Folks in this political discourse right now.
4 words, hail to the yeah.
Hail to the
That's
yeah.
exactly what you're supposed to do.
Let's go.
People want to see that you actually care. They want to see that you're going
Preach.
to fight for this country, that you're going to fight for them.
Yeah, man.
And what is happening is Democrats are trying to play a game.
Play nice.
When the other side says there are no rules. The Democrats are going, no. According to Section 18.6,
yeah,
these
exactly.
are the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
They've already made it clear there are none.
Yeah.
And President Biden, please,
Let's
for
go.
the love of God,
Oh my God.
stop saying this is not your grandfather's Republican Party. Guess what? That's gone. You've got to stop hearkening back for the Republican parties of the 80s and the early...
Oh shit, I disagree. This is the party, the Republican Party of the 80s. There is a straight line from the 80s evangelical Christians to the moment we are now, and even Republicans at the time would tell you that it was a dangerous and disturbing trend for politics, because once you start mixing religion and politics, you get people who do not compromise. And politics, you gotta compromise. That's how it works. Freedom will never feel the same apparently means so many things to so many people. Yeah, it's one of those concepts that like people have fought and died for ever since humans, because freedom is essentially a word about, like, I don't know, it's a catch-all for just how we're interacting with each other. So often we forget that, like, society is just a bunch of stuff you're born into that are a bunch of words and a bunch of abstract stuff that humans came up with. that allows you to walk into a stranger across the street, and you don't do battle in the streets. And that's why like cities can exist or whatever, because of ideas and frameworks. Once you start tinkering with that a bit too much over just like vague words like freedom and justice and righteousness, like, yeah, bad stuff happens. Yeah.
90s when there were moderate Republicans. It
Freedom.
is gone. They have to engage in warfare.
Yeah, let's
Ginni
go.
Thomas is sleeping with one of 9 Supreme Court justices. Are you trying to actually convince me
let's
that
go.
Clarence Thomas somehow has no idea what his wife is doing?
Come
Hell, I
on.
know what my wife is doing. She know what I'm doing, and so it's utterly ludicrous.
They call each other best friends.
I hear your point about how
Look
they
at
want
them.
to show how people around Trump were trying to show what he was doing. No, this is bigger than him. This has now gone past Donald Trump. This thing is now infected.
Yeah, man.
It's going to have
Absolutely.
a mass effect on the elections because
he's
states,
spitting.
And it's still happening.
local.
It's
Oh, you hear that? He's straight spitting. Listen to this.
Past Donald Trump. This thing is now infected, affected. It's going to have a mass effect on
Let's
the
go.
elections because states,
And it's still happening.
local,
It's
they
still
change
happening.
districts. This is much deeper, and Democrats ain't getting this thing.
No, I mean he's right. Like we just saw, like Texas Republicans straight up are just saying that the 2020 election just didn't happen. You know, they're just refusing the peaceful transfer of power. That is the sign of ends. That is that is it. That's game over. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. That's kind of it. Once that idea takes root, you can't have politics anymore. Politics is the arena of nonviolence. Once you've decided that those people aren't deserving of politics, it's game over. It's civil war. Yeah, I hate to say it. Let's do another dolly. How about Garfield skateboards down the Mississippi River? No, down Mount Everest. I didn't like that last one. It was kind of weird. But this guy was straight spitting. He was cool. He was based. Some people get it. Y'all get it. And we're all very interested in this guy named Raffensperger, who was the guy in Georgia that Trump called and was like, yo, I need specific number of votes from you. 11,700, 320, you know, just like, please give me the votes I need. So we're all waiting to hear from him. And this guy, of course, gave a bunch of really crazy testimony. So what's this? Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and his deputy Gabe Sterling will testify publicly at the next January 6th committee. Really? So next Tuesday, this is going to be very spicy. It's not Ginni Thomas spicy level, to be clear, but these two are at the exact center of the most criminal part of Trump's attempt to overthrow the election, and the most clearly criminal, where we've heard the tapes. Like, I can just literally pull it up. Like, watch this. Brad Raffensperger, Trump, need you to give me the votes. It's like as damning as it could possibly be. This is the full phone call. It's like an hour, but yeah, here you go. We can pull the transcript and be like, oh, don't do this to me, New York Times. Oh, yeah, there we go. So let's see here. Putting in the votes in Pennsylvania. So what's the number of votes? Well, Brad, that's an issue. We have all the votes you need. You know, we won the state. If you took, these are the most minimal numbers, the numbers that I gave you. Those are numbers that are certified. Your absentee ballot sent to vacant addresses. Your out-of-state voters, 4,925. You know, when you add them up, it's many more times. It's many times the 11,779. So we could go through. We've not gone through your... It's so hard to even, like, understand them. Yeah, this is him pressuring Meadows. And here's Raffensperger. Where's the, like, 11,000? Yeah, like, oh, here it is. So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have because we won the state. Amazing. Amazing. Like, literally in black and white, you can just pull up the previous president trying to overthrow the election of a state. And here's a cool Garfield skateboard. Doesn't really have the Mount Everest. Just that it's a skateboard. What about Spider-Man serves tea to who's he serving? You love Garfield? Garfield is a very scary and strange character. Why do we all know about Garfield? Have you ever actually read a Garfield cartoon? Or have you only dreamed that you've read Garfield cartoons? You know, asking the right questions here. Oh no, wait, to Mr. T. Oh, okay, I'll have to wait. You've definitely read them? Yeah, there's a really great video, maybe we can watch it one time, from Super Eye Patch Wolf about Garfield, and it's deeply fucked up. It's very bizarre. But hey, what time is this gonna be at? Do you know what time? Doesn't say what time. Okay, so Tuesday stream will definitely be timed to whenever this is happening. Okay, moving on. Let's all watch Biden fall off a bike. Content. Listen up, Jack. This is the... Oh, what bad footage. That's bad footage. I think there's a better clip. Wowee. The president survived. He survived. Let's see. We got a better clip. We got him falling upstairs. We got him falling off of he represents all the cats in the world, I think. I have watched and read Garfield, but not the bad side. So the thing that I'm familiar with when I grew up in university was Garfield without Garfield. Or Garfield minus. Garfield minus Garfield. This was one of the more bizarre... we can probably just go to the site itself. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of ways that Garfield has been reshaped, and Super Eye Patch Wolf's videos about like how amorphous and malleable and changeable that Garfield is. But you ever read Garfield minus Garfield, and it's like you're looking into the soul of the dude who wrote it. I can't remember his name, but look at this one. Remember the time yesterday when I almost ate a donut? Okay. I've been thinking about things. It just ends. Or, whoa, check it out. This sock is really long. Why so gloomy, buddy? You have a lot to be grateful for. It's like all really kind of, it's so, yeah. I too have also had things happen. I can't sit here all day. Sits there all day. Know what this morning needs? A polka. It's just like, oh, it's just such a bizarre, it's so, anyways, if we want to look into maybe when it's like 11 at night and I'm particularly stoned and we want to go somewhere weird and deep, we'll watch that video. It's pretty fantastic. It really changed my mind about Garfield and art. Insane John. He's just dancing. Hello, Mr. Springtime. It's so weird. Okay. All right. So this is Trump trying to overthrow election. Ah, finally a good one. Yes, this one's good. Spider-Man serves tea to Mr. Oh, this one's to Einstein. But I like this. This one's pretty fun. This one's a lot of fun. This looks like a fun romp. Let's see if it's better with Mr. T. I like that one. Okay, moving on. Oh, wait, let's watch Biden fall. Look. Oh. One more time. He can't get his right leg unclipped, and then he just falls. Yeah. Like, the bike he has, it's probably one of those fancy ones where you got, like, stupid little clips in your shoes so that you can get more torque, and watch his right leg struggle to unclamp. You can see it right at the bottom there. Puts his weight on his left, tries to shift his weight, but can't get his leg out. And then he falls. That's the commander-in-chief, everybody. Bite it down. Bite it down. Repeat. Bite it down. Scramble. Scramble. I need teams Alpha through Zeta to show up. Okay. Moving on. This is fun. And by fun, I mean terrifying. Another way to interpret the word fun. An unprecedented heat wave cooks Western Europe with temperatures hitting 43 degrees Celsius. Yo.
The mercury is rising all across Western Europe. From London to here in Luxembourg, people are making a dash for the shade. And it's France that's been particularly bad.
Yeah, imagine if, like, Biden breaks his hip. The reason America, like, slides into civil collapse is because Biden slips off his bike, shatters his hip bone, and has to go into the hospital.
Hit.
Oh,
Pretty much everywhere in the country, temperatures are above 30 degrees.
The backup president is Kamala Harris, so, you know, that's going to go over well. There's already conspiracy theories that, you know, they're going to take out Biden so that Kamala can ascend to the presidency through the back door.
With some areas even topping 40. For some in Paris, especially those in top floor apartments with metallic roofs, it's all too much to bear.
Heat desert.
70-year-old Christian can't get to sleep. He's part of a growing but largely unnoticed group of people in summer energy poverty. Those who...
Yo, like 600 people died in Vancouver. It's a real thing. Like, this is here. It's now.
Who can't afford to cool themselves. Even with the help of a local non-profit organization, there's not much he can do. Christian says, I get up, I go there, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I come back.
Yikes.
I drink a glass of water, then I sit down. I watch TV, and that's it, until 2 o'clock in the morning. The other time, it was 4 o'clock.
We try to deal with each case individually, and it's often quite difficult. We are just passing through, but to see that they live in these conditions, personally, it revolts me. And
the bind that we're in is that, like, especially for Europe is, and France, which is a city not built for the heat, is people are going to get air conditioners, but that increases the electricity payload, which kind of further increases our energy consumption, which increases the temperatures, which means more air conditioners. It's a bad feedback loop.
Breaks my heart too.
And on Sunday, the heat wave is due to spread to more central and eastern areas of Europe too, such as Germany and Poland.
Look at those colors.
In many areas, water is already being rationed after an unusually dry spring, like here in northern Italy.
Right.
Meteorologists say that the early heat wave is a sign of what's to come as global warming continues. And
she's got a hot bath.
In Spain, the signs of destruction are clear to see. As it's only June, many are worried of what the summer is to bring for much of Europe.
Yeah, we've been having like I've been coming across stories. Like, look at this. Look at this. Italy's largest river dries up after 110 days of no rain. I'm just going to go to the washroom. I'll be right back. Think about hydration and get water. Hydrate yourself.
Questa crisi noi non la vedevamo da 70 anni, da quando cioè conosciamo le statistiche, un livello così basso del fiume non l'abbiamo da 70 anni.
Non è piovuto abbastanza, abbiamo carenza idrica da quest'inverno. Gli ultimi temporali, le ultime piogge non sono stati assolutamente sufficienti a risanare quella che era la situazione già critica quest'inverno. Pensiamo che ci sia un calo di produzione di questo frumento almeno del 20% o oltre a causa della mancanza di piogge e di irrigazione.
Teniamo conto che facciamo il 55% dell'idroelettrico nazionale come PIL nel bacino del Po. Oggi siamo già a meno 50%
Dang, I think I missed a
quella
lot
produzione.
because I don't speak Italian. I don't understand Italian. This beats politics, some real people problems that we can empathize with. That's fair. Well, the reason I care about politics is because it often affects people I care about, like trans community, the gay community, the people like black community, Latino community. Like, that's kind of how I get it, access it, that empathy. Expecting a 20% less yield. Yeah, I think if you think food prices are difficult this year, it's going to be really bad next year, because apparently Russia is sort of holding the world hostage by preventing food from being exported from Ukraine during the war. And as you're seeing, we're having like year after year of droughts, and that's kind of like what happens. Like, you end up getting stuff like the Dust Bowl and civil unrest. That's huge. That's actually a massive thing to miss. Thanks for filling me in, Maltyrant Youth. Authorities are working on an emergency plan to ration water. Yeah. Seeing like lake breads. So that's in Italy, and I think a river dries up in was it Syria or Iran? Syria's, this is 20. Yeah, here we go. This is from February though, so it's probably worse now. But yeah, you can just like glaciers melting. You can look up glaciers melting or watching rivers drying up, right? Like any time lapse videos or even overheads. That's not a river. I think we could all just look at that and be like, that's not good. I don't like that look. That's not a good sign. Can we, that person didn't get home. That's a field. That was probably a farmer. She was talking about the rainfall and the winter water and stuff. So the wheat is a result of it. That's where her point landed. Right. Like, there's no water, so there's no wheat, which means it's harder to sustain livestock, which means the cost of livestock goes up. It just all starts to spiral. C'est pas bueno, no bueno la. C'est pas bon. Wow, yeah. You have to essentially pipe it out at that point. Iraq could have no rivers by 2040. What? No rivers? Wait, no rivers? Does that mean it's just basins? Just aquifers and basins and underwater? Oh, that's scary to think about. Whoa, imagine not having any... Oh my god, it's hard for Canadians. We're so privileged with the amount of water we have. It's honestly insane. We have so much of the fresh water. I cannot imagine a country with no rivers. Oh my god. Rivers are like how we move stuff. It's how we trade and travel and fish. Oh no. And get rid of waste. You know what I mean? Alright. Alright. I'm done doom scrolling, I guess. Here's Spider-Man serving tea to Mr. T. I don't know if that one's better than Einstein, but it's pretty based. It's pretty based. There's also a black Mr. T, which is also awesome. I don't know what's going on there. This is pretty fun. Okay. All right. Like if their rivers are completely drying up. Yeah, so absolutely love Tyrant Youth. A lot of what like the scientists are saying in the community are like, there's going to be mass migrations. If you think migrations are tough now, there's an entire subset just called climate refugees. They already exist now. There's already a couple countries. I can't remember what the country is. I'm struggling with it right now. It's like an island nation that's going to be like underwater by like 2040 or 2050. So they're just like I think it's like Mauritania or something. I can't remember. But they're like trying to just like find a new home for their country. It's just like not a thing, right? So that's, you don't have much of a choice. You are a creature that requires water to survive. So people just have to flee, and more regions of the world are just become inhospitable. Except for like desert dwelling creatures, you know what I mean? Like things that are like specifically attuned to pulling moisture out of air, or yeah, like doing interesting stuff. Okay, moving on. Our favorite people are coming back to Ottawa for Canada Day and plan to stay throughout the summer. Freedom convoy, Did you think that we have enough freedom? Because we need more. We're gonna end up with these just barren chunks of land and sunken chunks. Yeah, it's already happening. Like, let's look at the positive side of it, like the reforestation of Africa. I think there's like huge reforestation projects in Africa. The Great Green Wall, in 2016 didn't stop desertification, but it evolved to something like wall. So yeah, there's like the Great Green Wall that was being created in Africa to try to prevent deforestation, which leads to these drought situations, and then just like there's nothing but barren land and desert. So here are some like satellite photos you can see of some like forest starting to barely get in there. Yeah, but the river looks healthier. So it's interesting to think about. But more interesting is freedom, everybody. I kind of want to go to this. I spent this morning before stream looking up gimbals and how they work and can I get one, and should I go to this protest for Canada's Day? It could be hype. Freedom. Ottawa police say they expect more protests and larger than usual crowds during Canada Day celebrations in the capital this July, as groups related to the Freedom Convoy continue to plan protests. In a statement, the Ottawa Police Service said it is, quote, working with Canada Day organizers and our policing partners to implement a public safety plan that allows all Canadians and visitors to freely and safely enjoy the capital during the celebration. Oh my God. Oh, here we go, everybody. Significant road closures and an increased police presence are expected. Police say additional resources from other services are being brought in. So let's hope the police don't fuck it up a second time. Several groups, most formed out of the Freedom Convoy, are planning protests in Ottawa throughout the summer, including many of the key figures and prominent streamers involved in the ongoing freedom movement. A cohort that includes many of the groups involved in protests earlier this year, as well as some that have emerged since, is coordinating events throughout the summer. Protests are expected to take place on a mass scale in the city, starting June 30th, when James Topp, a veteran marching across Canada in protest of the remaining vaccine mandates, plans to end his crisscross journey at the National War Memorial in downtown Ottawa. And I think we like looked into him. If you remember that video where he showed up in military fatigues and then it cuts to the second half of the video where he's in regular clothes and he's like, I found out that it's not okay for me to be in military fatigues and to make political statements. So here's the rest of my video as me, as a person, an individual not associated with the military. It was great. It was awesome. It was top content. And his name's Top. Top began walking to Ottawa in February, inspired by the convoy protest and disturbed, he said, by government overreach affecting people who have chosen not to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Quote, as it stands right now, I have not been invited back to work as of yet, he said. This entire march, the purpose of it was to serve as a protest. I felt it was a violation in several different ways. So, yeah. I don't know. What's the over-under on me going? Is it worth it? What do you think? What do you think? Is it worth the effort? Might be a lot of effort. I kind of like this. This is a lot of fun. Ottawa police say this year's Canada's Day will see unprecedented security response.
Ottawa police say this year's Canada Day.
Ooh. Creepy. Yo, they're trying to get AI voices to replace me, everybody. So police are going to learn lessons and do stuff to restrict our freedom. Can you believe it? Okay, next up, and one of the last things to look at is that Bitcoin is dropping off the shelf. Bitcoin's not worth as much anymore. It's down more than a third in the past week. Okay, that's pretty incredible. That's honestly pretty incredible. So, yeah, crypto bros were wrong, everybody. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm surprised. Are you surprised? And then, last but not least, a leaked Amazon memo says the company may run out of available labor by 2024. So they're starting to get a little worried about all the union making and people starting to realize that their wages are shit to have to, you know, piss in a bottle. So yeah. All right. We've got 2 videos lined up, and then I'm probably going to do some gaming. There's this really fun game called V Rising. But right now we have a video called Young Generations Are Now Poorer Than Their Parents, and it's changing our economies. And I'm going to kind of use this as an opportunity to like figure out some lunch, figure out some food. But before I do that, I think I'm going to say bye to the YouTubers. Au revoir. If you're on YouTubes, have a good one, and come watch us on twitch.tv/beweird. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you later. Bye. Say bye to the YouTubers. Better chat.